So, Pias, the video that I sent, did you go through it?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Right. So, could you tell me it was a normal story and yes, so could you tell me what was the story about and what was the moral or maybe something to learn from the story?
Okay, ma'am. So there was a man named Raj was lived in a village named Karjampur, and he used to farm in his village, and he didn't get married. That's the reason his mother told him, "Why are you not get married?" But the boy, the man said that he was busy with farming and he enjoy his life. Uh, but his mother forced that please uh, get married, and if you get married, then my uh, daughter-in-law will help me. But again, the man refused. But when his aunt visited his house, she said that uh, how helped her daughter-in-law in his home, and uh, he did all the work in the house. So again, uh, his mother told him to see a girl in Tulsi Pur, and please, it's for sake of me. That's time the man I couldn't refuse, and uh, obeying his mother, and say, okay, no problem, I will go after finishing my work. Then after 4 days, uh, he decided to go Tulsipur, and in this whole journey, the man experienced a very uh, unrealistic and unnatural things. When he uh, uh, ma'am, what can I say? When at the middle of his journey, he tired, and he eat all his food, and and drink his fresh water what he had brought with him. And when he again decided to go that Tulsipur, then he saw two girls came with water, and said, "Please give me some water for quench my thirsty." But the girl refused that. They buy they brought it from Tulsiram, because there were only a uh, beautiful or pure drinking water sources, and even there were no well around in 10 miles, so it's very difficult situation for fresh drinking water. And then the man really felt astonished that how can a man sell this type of natural sources. Then the man requested the girl that please pour some of water in my hand and quench my thirsty. And then the girl uh, gave him some water, and again he decided to go forward. And after a while, he again saw a man carried some water pot, and said, "Please give me some water." But again, the Man said, "Sir, it's my business. I sold water because I brought it from Tulsiram by 2 rupees." So he again gave him money for the water and asked him for a hotels or for his uh, um, next save. So the man said, "You uh, would go to Tulsiram's shop and could buy anything you want." Then again, he decided to go Tulsiram, and after the journey, he noticed and listened a man sitting under a tree and said, trust tree," and gave me order, but no one would help him. But the man named Raj gave him order and quenched his thirsty. And at times a native came to the spot and said, Didn't you know uh, he betrayed us?" So he told them how he betrayed you. Then the old man said his whole story, and he was a field expert and a hydrologist, and tried to help his village, and pointed a place that place dug and gain water, but Tulsiram uh, refused. But when he ensured that I am a hydrologist and I know where is the water, then Tulsiram misled the village and said that there is no water, and please punished the old man. And after listening this, Raj decided to go to Tulsiram and said, uh, "I agree with the man because he is a very good man and knowing person, and please dug the field." Then again, the Tulsiram refused that because if the man found a well, then his shop would be closed. So again, Tulsiram tried to mislead the villagers again, but Raj couldn't leave the point and say, "If you couldn't find any duck, then I will give you 100 rupees." Then the villagers support Raj and the old man, and fire dug the dug into deep, and after digging 20 meters, they found a beautiful well. Then Raj said the villagers, "Please punish the Tulsiram because he misled all of you." Then the villagers all together again punished Tulsiram as like the old man. No one couldn't give water, fresh water, and anything. So it was the story, and at the end of the story, I can feel about the need of the water and how is the feeling when a villagers or netizens uh, uh, live in the scarcity of such kind of fresh water or any kind of water they their daily needs. So obviously it's the alarming situation of our world and civilization, because some times we knew some news that in such kind of area like Borindro or northern part of our country, they are still feel some scarcity of pure drinking water, and even their field are died by the lack of water. So, and I am also mm, experienced in this type of situation, because in my village there are some uh, well owner, and sometimes they also sell their water for the land purposes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Um, actually, right. That's actually right. Okay, Yash. So, while we you were saying, I have thought there is one thing that we could uh talk about. Um, there is a saying that you know that the governments, most of the governments of a country, they actually keep a keen air to this question. Okay, that the government, most of the times what they do, they actually keep their hands on the emails and the mobile phone calls and even the SMSs, MMSs on the social medias over the citizen of the country, right? And some governments, they don't use that force, or they don't use that kind of domination over the citizens. So what do you think, Piyash, that which one you would be do we would be doing, or which one is your preference, that a government should have that kind of accessibility to the citizens emails and their phones, through their phones, and all the data they have been using, they have been seeing, watching, whatever, or the government should not break through the personal life, or of the general people, of normal citizen of this country? What do you feel? Yes, that's my question.
Ma'am, in this point of view, I can say that men
Yes, it's
are
from this point of view. Okay, from this point of view, or from my point of view.
okay, ma'am. From my point of view, I can say that men are born to be free, ma'am. So, government or any on have no right to interfere with anyone's personal life, ma'am. And even sometimes we knew the news, ma'am, that some hackers are trying to hack our personal issue, even in bank account or any personal things or any social medias. So if our all the personal issue or personal database are saved from by the government, so it's really going to be danger, ma'am, because sometimes the database are very insecure, ma'am. So it's a chance to hack the all people's database with within a click, man. So it's really dangerous. And even uh, even you heard a news that our Bangladesh banks reserve are theft. So if there had a chance to theft our reserve, so why don't I say that database wouldn't be theft? So I don't like that government should interfere with anyone's personal database or personal lifestyle or anything, ma'am. It's man's choice, and government built to help netizens. So it's really unrealistic or maybe unsafety, ma'am.
Yes, yes, I got it. I totally understood it. And actually, there's something sometimes also happen that they actually controls the databases. When I was in India, and I don't know if I should say this because the class is getting recorded and it will be uploaded, but rather, like, I found out that in Facebook, when I entered into the like into Facebook, and there was some, I never search anything of the political issues, because I really avoid them these things like deliberately, so that I don't have to go to all those things, and I don't post any kind of those things or see any kind of those things. Still I got some kind of notifications or some kind of videos, like the leaders, I don't want to name them, but some of the political leaders, they are like advertisement before the election, advertisements that yes, this person is doing this, and that person will is they have done this and this, so we think we should vote this person and all those things. And to my utter surprise, I found out that I never even searched one thing. So what about, if you ask about the Facebook algorithm or maybe Google search algorithms, I never did that. So how come this came into my feed? Then sometimes after some time I found out, oh, okay, all right. So this is the reason. Um maybe they have did something like they paid a lot of money to Facebook or the social medias, and by which they just like get some kind of votes maybe at some point. So that's another thing. So actually they have the access to our personal lives, even if we don't want to. Then they even have the access to our search engines as well, like the whatever the what the things. And actually if it's like cyber and the cyber crimes, they have all the accessibility, and if they have the accessibility, then a hacker also can have the accessibility, of course. So I also feel the same way, that why should one person, when if you are on a social media, on social sites, then your life is no more private. How doesn't matter how much you try to hide it, it's actually not hidden. So I don't. Yes, I also feel the same way, Piyash. Right. So,
And
acha,
ma'am,
yes,
even
Piyash.
if you heard a news from 3 or 4 days back, ma'am, a man uh, was visited a plastic showroom, and when he came back his own room and turned his net and Wi-Fi and click on the social media, then uh, the Facebook authority gave him plastic items, ma'am. So how it is possible? I think they controlled us all the time and all the day, and I think they know everything. If anyone carry a mobile phone, ma'am.
Of course, and that sometimes it happens that there are some hackers, and it happens sometimes that if the if there is the authority, they won't do anything harm to you. Actually, they will keep an eye on you, that if you are a maybe some kind of uh, criminal or some kind of person who is going to harm something, or maybe That's how they keep an eye. But there are some hackers sometimes, and I have found out that sometimes your phone, it doesn't work anymore, like for 1 or 2 minutes, or maybe for 10 to 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, and after that, you close you like shut down your phone, and it starts like working again. But at that time, within that moment, your phone gets hacked, and they can even see through with the selfie camera that you have in your phone. So these things are literally uh, scary. Really, they are really very much scary. So and they can even go through the Googles and all those things that we have been. So I think the best thing would have been to like stop it. Maybe we can switch up our phone while sleeping. Maybe that's how maybe our datas don't get leaked. If there is any data that we want to protect for ourselves or for our society or the places where we have been working, we can like switch up our phones, and many more things are happening. And social media is actually kind of giving us kind of things that we can, and it also can be a best thing to debate about. Like social media, does it have a good impression on the society, on our personal lives of people, or bad? So we can talk, as like we can talk to our relatives and all those peoples who are far away from us. As like my parents, they live maybe 300 kilometers, not 300, maybe 200 or 250 kilometers away from me, but I can talk to them whenever I want them to be. Okay, but then there is this problem that I have no personal life. I don't have anything to hide from the social media, and don't have anything that they can't view, and they are always reviewing the things I have been taking. I have been going to the places, and they have always been checking on me. Maybe the way I'm if I'm taking up photos, they can also see me, and these things actually are very scary. So it can be a good topic for a discussion, actually. And that we have a debate on subjects, and we could do one thing, that we could actually search for this, the what are the bad effects, what are the good effects, and maybe we can have a discussion or maybe a debate about this thing as well. And we have our all the we can have our all the knowledges about the things, and then maybe we can have a lot of discussion about this fact as well. And though I know that the discussion won't bring anything good to us, but it will be a good thing to discuss about, I think. Right. mm, Also, Piyash, now, like there is a tax system, right? That if a person has more wealth than the other, and if a person is running a business or a restaurant, or maybe any kind of things, or maybe they have a lot of maybe they have more incomes than the normal peoples have. And if they have built a house, or they have been building a very huge building, then they have to pay the taxes to the government, right? So um, do you think that paying this type of taxes, are they bringing any kind of good to the society, or maybe to the people who are poor? And they are which one do you think that they are more like filling up the pockets of the politicians, and actually they are helping the poor people to get out from the poverty they had been going through, for each and for any kind of country, not only Bangladesh, but for any kind of developing countries? What is your thought, Piyash?
Ma'am, maybe you told about rich person, ma'am, and what is their main motive. So, am I right, ma'am?
Yes, Piyash, I said the rich people more, and there are many people they have been doing business, who have been doing all the things. They have to pay taxes. Although many of them don't pay the taxes, but I'm not taking. We are not going to that aspect right now. But now the thing I'm talking about. What do you think? The taxes they pay actually the people very few very few people actually, even though those within those amount within the counted amount of people that pay the tax they pay actually, uh, are those with the money they have been paying, are they actually being helpful to the poor people for the developing countries, or they actually filling up the pockets of the politicians in charge or the government in charge? What's your thought about this, Piyash?
Ma'am, yeah, in this issue, in this uh, point or in this issue, I can say that it's depend on man's and the political situation in one countries. But overally, uh, if I can say about the taxes, so obviously it is helpful for poor, and government mm, will remove some problem in any country, but poor people are also involved to the development because they buy the product. So there is also tax or VAT, man. So the VAT is more powerful than tax, and VAT is the main sources of fund of a government. So if a rich man skip or deny to give taxes, then um, there will be no problem to run a country or run a government, because our government or any country's government mm, would collect money from general public, man, and the number of people or number of the amount of the VAT is huge than uh, taxes. So if a good man or good businessman try to help the people um, in their own job or own works, it's okay. But I think the businessmen in the all around the world try to control the main politics, or they are only the main villain or main worker to make a government. And if I say about our countries, our giant companies like Bosundhara, Beximco, Orion, or Akis, or any kind of giant company, and they are the main controller of our country, because uh, we know the news that they even uh, don't give the taxes over than 2000 crore, a million, or more than, like. So I think uh, there are some good businessmen, but the majority of the businessmen are corrupted, and the main motive to control the government and try to develop their own purposes and own businesses, man. It's my opinion, man. It's only my personal opinion.
Yes, that's actually true. When they have been using them, and there are that when you said about the VAT, actually the VAT. on the products. There are some products that the government they have been putting the taxes or the vats. They shouldn't be, actually they shouldn't put that much VAT on those products. Rather, the products which are actually unhealthy, they should have maybe you can maybe there are some things like that, the women products. So they could reduce the VAT on those things. Rather, they have been increasing the VATs on them, and they have been reducing the VATs on the junk foods, or maybe some the things which are unhealthy for human beings. Yes, that's another thing. And of course the businessmen, and you know that I have actually viewed it that the people are taking here in India, for having any kind of food. If you have any kind of food from a restaurant, you have to give 5% VAT for that food. If the food is, maybe if the food is 1000, then you have to give 50 rupees for the VAT and for the tax. And I don't know, we even don't know that if they actually pay the taxes, they how do this kind of this the rich people, how do they become so much rich? Because they actually don't pay those taxes, and they have been using those things. And the mediators, like the middle class people, they have been actually suffering from those issues. And we
Ma'am,
yes, Piyash.
ma'am, have you any good books for the calculation of the taxes or the study of the taxes, ma'am? Because I really want to know about the taxes because in the super mall, ma'am, when uh, we are going to buy something, then they, ma'am, take our taxes, then then the include that which are included in the packet. They take extra taxes than us, ma'am. But when we are going to buy the same product in the local market or in the street, ma'am, they don't take our taxes because taxes are included in the packets or included in the products. But why the uh, super mall authority uh, take the taxes, ma'am? I don't understand the calculation of the taxes, so I really want to study.
I don't have a book of it, but rather I know that one of my friends, and her father is a owner of one of supermarkets, and she told me that maybe she justified in this way that the taxes has been taken because the taxes get taken because of the AC, and because of the lighting, and because of the maintaining of the whole place. They have been maintaining all those products, and the staffs, they have to keep more and more staffs, and they have to make things healthy, like more hygienic way, more healthier way. And they have been providing us the, I am nowadays, I have been obsessed with dragon fruits, the red one, the which one is in red in inside. And when I buy that kind of dragon fruit from outside, it costs me 200 rupees per kilos. But when I go into a supermarket, one just per one dragon fruit, even though it has a better quality, maybe it is a bit bigger, but it doesn't look like that, it doesn't taste differently. Even then, one dragon fruit, it costs just 90 rupees, and we don't know what's it about, and it is kept inside a refrigerator. And the chickens and all those things, they take taxes, and they say us that they have been using like the ACs, and keeping the ACs on and all the lights on. So, and there are some, what should I say, the running stairs and the lifts, all those things. Because of all those things, they take the taxes from us. But I don't
And it's
feel
a
like
lame
they have.
excuse, ma'am. It's a lame excuse, ma'am. If they take taxes from those facilities, then why they don't clear that it's the facilities tax, facilities tax or facilities fees? But ma'am, they takes out taxes as like uh, as the government, ma'am.
Yes, yes, they take taxes, and actually, Piyash, what happens whenever we go from one place to another, and we use easy bikes and rickshaws, all those things, we bargain with them, like our life depends on those those money. But actually, whenever we go to a super mall, supermarket, we get pauses. Literally, we get like consumed, or maybe conjured by that kind of high class look, and we can do we bargain about them? No, we never. And actually, the price tag is put on them, and we just take them and put on the put like to show the people our high class. We go there in the places and buy those things. When and what we do, we start bargaining to the people who are underprivileged, and we like they are not getting anything out of it, but we are giving more oils to the people's head who have more oil. So it's such a oppressive, or maybe literally oppressive situation. If I have to say, ki, they have been consuming the money, and it's a maybe like capitalistic mindset, the capitalistic mindset, and by using all those mindsets and using those tricks and putting them into business, they have been making a lot of money, whereas the people who are underprivileged, they are not getting anything. And that's how the difference, the higher difference between the rich people and the poor people are so much different from each other, and there are so less people in between them, and the middle class people, they don't even belong to the richness that they have. They actually, the much we get paid for a mm, for even for a maybe for a college professor, college lecturer, they get so less paid in Bangladesh. And maybe for the government professors, they get more paid. But if you know that, if you will understand that the professors and the teachers, they get paid so less, and they have to maintain a certain kind of class to show up to the society, and they don't have the money. Even then, they have to pay the taxes, whereas the rich people, by providing the power they have, and by showing people the power they have not been paying the taxes. And if they paid those taxes, our country would not have been in this kind of situation. It would have been 1,000 times better. And if they didn't think in this way, and they didn't think this so selfishly, maybe our country would have like changed into a
Yes, ma'am.
developed country soon.
I and a company named Beximco. You heard the name, ma'am?
Yes, I have.
Yes, ma'am. And the Beximco company denied to give 20,000 crore taxes to the government, ma'am. And if our government have the ability to collect the whole taxes, ma'am, then maybe our government will make another Padma Bridge, ma'am.
Of course, they will be. They will be. How? And these companies, these businessmen, actually, they have a lot of power. How will you go on? These people, they will, how the politicians will like get over them, and they will force them to give the taxes, because the politicians have consumed their money, and they take their money, and by taking their money, they also become rich. So how do you think that they will force the government will force I don't know if I should say it this way, but how will you think that the government would force them, this company, Mexican company? I don't know if there isn't any kind of progress to that thing. Uh, is there any progress, Piyash? I haven't heard about it actually. That they
Ma'am,
have been taking the
ma'am,
time.
I told my previous speech that some companies have the power to control the government, ma'am, and the chairman of the Beximco company, his name is, ma'am, I really forget, ma'am, uh, and people called him ma'am Dorbesh Baba,
Yes.
and ma'am, he is the advisor of our prime minister, ma'am. So how he managed to take the money, ma'am? It's ma'am really tough, ma'am. It's really tough.
Yes. Hmm. That's the situation actually. If you want to do something, if you want to be rich, at some point, you also need to be corrupted. Otherwise, you won't be able to get into that position ever. And actually,
Ma'am,
honesty doesn't.
do you,
Yes, yes.
ma'am, do you have any friend in this field, ma'am, in
I
tax
have.
or in
No, no, not in tax. Not
law?
in tax. I don't have any friend in tax procedure because actually to give the exam of to become a tax inspector or they have to give the toughest exam is the toughest exam and it's a UPSC exam, and some of my friends have been appearing in that exam, but they have tried once or twice, and we haven't just it's just been 1.5 year after that we got our post graduation, so it is not enough time for getting prepared for that kind of exam. So I don't have any of my friends or maybe relatives as well from that field, from tax field. But Piyash, you could doesn't Google Pay like they give some kind of knowledge about this tax and the systems? Do you have haven't you Googled it, or have you?
Ma'am, I googled it, but yet I can't find the whole study, ma'am, because
You can search in
when
YouTube, I guess. YouTube
yes,
is
ma'am.
better. YouTube is better because YouTube actually explains those things. And Google, what happens? Google is maintained by the Americans. So actually, they show the databases that are actually prohibited in not prohibited. They actually happening in America and all those countries, Western countries. But if we want to know about our situation, the situation of our country, then I think we should go through the YouTube of our of from the basis of our country and made by our people. Maybe then we will there are better information in YouTube's. I feel it.
And ma'am, I would also like to share a experience, ma'am. When we had a hotel in the Delhi, ma'am, and the place is Paharganj, ma'am, and they took our 5% taxes with our regular payment, ma'am.
Why?
And ma'am, they told us that uh, they would um, pay the government. Then that's the reason they took our 5% taxes besides the payment, ma'am. And I don't believe them, ma'am, because if the hotel price is hundreds or 1,000 rupees, ma'am, and uh, sometimes they sold it even higher or lower, lower, ma'am. So how they fixed the rate of the hotel, ma'am, and how they should pay the taxes, ma'am? It's really unrealistic, really unrealistic.
Piyash, was it a 3-star or 4-star or 5-star hotels? Any kind of, or they didn't have a star?
No, ma'am, it's a normal hotel in Paharganj,
And
ma'am.
you know, actually, you know, Piyash, Delhi is the place. Delhi is a place which is famous for its scamming. And there is a pickpocket and then pickpocketing situation. All of those crimes are happening in Delhi. It's such a big and busy city. So of course they don't pay the government. If they pay all the taxes to the government, how will they become rich? Are they mad or something? Why are they even into the business? Business is such a thing which starts with dishonesty, you know, to speak the truth, actually. So, yes, and that's how we become rich, actually. And it's such an ironic situation. They have been saying that they pay taxes and all those, whereas they are being rich by just not giving those taxes to the government and to the people who are in need. Yes, yes, right. Yes, you could search in YouTube, or maybe I don't have a book on this. Um, because I was I haven't been.
Because, ma'am,
Yes,
I am really fed up with the taxes system, ma'am. I am really bored and ma'am disappointed, ma'am, with this system, ma'am.
yes, yes, yes. Mm, okay. I
Ma'am,
if
a
I find
simple
some.
thing, ma'am. Ma'am,
Yes,
ma'am, I want to say that uh, if the taxes including with the product price, ma'am, why the supermarket take more taxes with the product, ma'am? Why, ma'am? It's I cannot understand, ma'am.
I oh, with the same thing that I think they have they say us. Maybe it's that thing that the packaging, the hygienic system. That's what they say. I don't know if they and you know, as they have been using a large space. Um, but you know, Pia, sometimes the
Ma'am, it
grocery
is their
items,
business, ma'am. It's their shop and business, ma'am. If
of course,
uh,
but
they
Pia,
they are
you
not
know.
able to buy a house, why they opened it? It is their business.
Yes, but Piyash, you know, one thing, the grocery items, if you go into the normal shops, normal grocery shops, you will actually, for some items, the grocery items, they are cheaper in supermarkets sometimes. I don't know if you agree with me, but I have found it here that the some of the items, maybe rice or maybe dal, all those things, and the dried items, they are cheaper in this some kind of supermarkets than they are in the grocery stores. I don't know what's the reason. Maybe they can actually gather more items than the normal grocery shops can. But there are some certain
Ma'am, I
items
have a
which are
logic
cheaper.
on this point, ma'am. I have a logic.
Yes, yes, yes,
Ma'am,
Piyash.
the owner of the supermarket buy from the direct producer, ma'am. And on the grocery market, the products are coming through two or three hand, ma'am. Maybe that's the reason, ma'am. And sometimes the owner of the supermarket buy huge products and they uh, are kept in storage, ma'am, and on the grocer and on the street, ma'am, they have no storage, and they buy it and sell it daily, ma'am. And maybe that's the reason to change the price, ma'am.
Mm. Yes, that's actually very much possible. That's actually very much possible. Yes, that's are those things. Mm. And okay. Uh, it's really very. How's the weather, PS, there in Russia? Isn't it today? Is it raining there, or it's very
No, ma'am,
because
it's really hot, ma'am, because Rajshahi is the most
ভ্যাপসা
hottest
গরম যেটা
city,
বলে,
ma'am.
ভ্যাপসা গরম।
Yes, ma'am.
I
Yes, ma'am. More,
because I'm taking the class, I can't switch on the fan, and it's such a horrible
ma'am,
situation.
what is the meaning of the Bhabsha Garam? It's cloudy, hot, or another things, ma'am.
No, it's rather, yes, maybe there are some kind of, what happens in Rajshahi and Shantiniketan, they have similar kind of weather because, like in Rajshahi, they also have reddish kind of soil, right? Reddish kind of soil, or maybe,
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Such kind of, ma'am. But in the
yes, yes,
Chapanabond, the soil are more red, ma'am. Ma'am. And
okay.
that's the reason we can make a clay house, ma'am.
Oh, you can make a playhouse.
A clay house, ma'am. Clay house.
Oh, clay house, clay house. Okay, okay, okay. Um,
And ma'am, even uh, we still we are still living in clay house, ma'am.
okay. মাটির ঘর.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Oh, right. Actually, we have our that kind of house at our village. Then most of the villagers they had this kind of room, and we have one still in our village in Bangladesh, and it's in Satkira. But we have that, um, and it's very nice to live in there. And golpata, like on the upper side, we put golpata on it. Do you have
Ma'am,
that kind of thing
ma'am,
as well?
in our areas, playhouse is our culture, ma'am, because the hot weather, ma'am, and the thickness of the wall is 10 times thick than, ma'am, I can say the concrete house, ma'am.
Yes, concrete houses. Right. Okay. That's a right. Actually, I found out when once I went to a Shantali room and Shantali person's house, where I taught the before. So I went to their house, and their house was it was so cooler. Actually, clay houses are very good. So,
Ma'am,
bhapsha
yes, ma'am, it's
gorom.
true, ma'am. It's true, ma'am. And maybe uh, Shautali house are thinner, ma'am, because their house is on storage, ma'am. But in our areas, our houses are two storage building, ma'am, and that's the reason the
No, they
thickness of
yes,
the wall.
they also have. I went to the house, and they also have two storage house. They had two storage house, like big house. The other day I was saying maybe you weren't in the class, and they have some kind of art painting on their clay
Yes,
houses.
ma'am, it's their
And
culture, ma'am, and
like, do you also like have this kind of paintings or all those kind of arts,
yes,
or you?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Lord, yes, ma'am. Why not, ma'am? We have lived in Goro, ma'am, and it's really uh, really, ma'am, combines with uh, ma'am, Chapanganj and Malda and Murshidabad, ma'am. And we are living more and such kind of ma'am, Upujati ma'am.
Okay. Piyash, would you could you do you have any photos? Could you send? Like I got interested. Like how do the houses look like? Do you if you have any photos or any kind of things you could if you have you could share. I would like to see those houses. How do they look? Actually, do are they similar to the houses I went
Okay,
to,
ma'am,
or
no
are they
problem, ma'am.
different?
I will send you, ma'am. And if you ever heard the name, ma'am, uh, the Nachole Rani, ma'am,
I
named.
haven't. I haven't. I haven't.
Okay, ma'am. And she was the fighter of the dividation, three dividation of the uh, harvest, ma'am. And
Okay.
her name was Ila Mitro, ma'am.
Okay. I didn't know about it. Right.
I mean, it's
Okay.
really historical. Ma'am, it's really historical, ma'am. And if you study, then maybe you will cry, ma'am.
Okay. So the paintings and all those arts they came from the story of Ilamitro.
No, ma'am. Uh, she from a very richest family, but she, ma'am, lead the or ma'am, and she was beside with the tribal uh, Shautal because Shautals were working the field and the land owner didn't give their proper right. Then Ilamitro found a way that parts, two parts would given to the farmer and one parts would given to the landowner. But the landowner, that means Jumidar, uh, refused.
Jamindars. Jamindars.
Yes.
In English, it's called Jamindars. Okay.
No, ma'am. I would like to say Jomidar, ma'am, because that time Jomidar were lived, ma'am.
Okay. Jamin. But actually, in English, the English people they say like Jamindars. So that's why.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Jomindar.
They-
So
Yes.
they refused and they tortured Ilamitros so roughly, ma'am, so roughly. If you study the story, ma'am, maybe you will cry how they torture her, ma'am.
I will. I will. Today, of course, after having the class, I will go through the Googles and I will search about her. Of course, and it's about that. It's in. It's is it the incident of Chapai Nawabganj or
Yes, ma'am. It's situated in Chapanabganj, and
happened it?
the
Yes, happened in Chapai Nawabganj.
yes, ma'am, and the Thana names is Nachul, ma'am, Nachul, and the
Nachol. Okay.
Tikoil village is also situated in this territory in Nachul Upojela, ma'am,
Okay.
and
All
we
right.
are just beside the Nachul, and uh, our uh, member of parliament is same because he was selected from us, Nachul and Gomastapur. We are combined, ma'am.
Okay, okay. All right. That's actually fascinating. All right. I will, of course, go through. I, of course, will go through. And Piyash, in one of our classes, I started actually reading a novel, and it's about Ambedkar, and they also had that one kind of art, it's called Gond art, and they used this kind of art on their like hearts, mud hearts, and without going like having my research on Indian and Indian literature in English. So I thought about doing the researches on the graphic novels because it's such an interesting topic to go on. But I didn't find that much thing to do in this Bishwarati because they don't have that much informations and all those things, so I just back my thought off. But it's very, it literally interests me a lot, those arts and artistic forms and the way the authors depict those things. I think, of course, I will go through and I will give you my thoughts after reading on all those things. All right, Piyash.
Ma'am,
Uh, yes, Piyash.
and interestingly, we are still collecting, ma'am, rainwater for the sake of our, ma'am, cooking, ma'am.
Oh, okay, okay, that's really interesting. um All right, all right. I need to go through this. I really need to go through this.
Because
Okay.
the water of the well are so ironic, ma'am. And the when we used the well water, then our rice and our curry turned red, ma'am, and it's
Wow.
taste, yeah, bad, ma'am. But when we used the rainwater, it's taste so delicious and it's look like fresh, ma'am. And obviously it's the scarcity of water, ma'am. And I told the story of our territory, ma'am. And uh, even today there are no hand well in our areas, ma'am, because
Mm.
if we try to dig a well, then we should dig around like 200 meters deep, ma'am. And day by day it's going deeper to deeper, ma'am.
Hmm. So actually, this story actually, the story I sent you, it's kind of relatable to
Ma'am,
you.
yes, it's
Mm.
really true, ma'am, and I already said that I experienced it, ma'am.
Yes, yes, you said while you were saying at last. All right. I will go through the things that you said about Ilamitro and Nachol and about Japan of Gons, and it's all the way that the things and those things. Okay, so I think I will stop the class here, and tomorrow we will start our class from 9:45. Okay,
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
all right, all right. Good night, Allah Hafiz.